Inuuteq. Great to see you. We are so happy that you are with us today, coming in from Greenland, which is not only the largest island in the world and an autonomous part of the Kingdom of Denmark, but most important, it is your home country. Let me give some words, let me say some words to your biographical background before you start. You were born and raised up in Sisimiut, the second biggest town of Greenland, with around about 2,000 people living there. 2009, in the age of 20, you've had your first photo exhibition also in Sisimiut. 1 year later, you started studying photography, first at Fata Morgana in Copenhagen, where you graduated in 2011. 2015, you went to New York to continue your studies at the International Center of Photography, the ICP. My head felt home in New York, but my heart was homesick. You described this surely ambiguous time being abroad. Feeling home, being part of your homies, and identity are main topics in your artistic work. We look forward to learning more about it now.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Inuuteq Storch. I'm from Greenland. I went to Fata Morgana and ICP. I published 2 books, Flesh and Porcelain Souls. I'm going to publish 2 books this year. The one, it was delayed from last year, Mirrored, Portraits of Good Hope. And the other one is Keepers of the Ocean, my own photography from my hometown, Sisimiut. I'm going to show 3 projects. And this one is my second book, Flesh, my photography from New York. And in here, I photographed my feelings in New York, where my body felt homesick and my soul felt at home. I actually grew a lot in New York. I always dreamed about moving out from Greenland when I was young, which means that I learned English. That's fortunate. Lucky for me, I learned it when I was very young. And for me, photography is like a tool for expressing myself. In Flesh, I had 2 personalities: the one that is in the material world and the one in my spirit. So you see a lot of 2 opportunities in these photos, which is kind of strange because I was there in the material world, but my mind was always at home. I never thought I would say that, but I feel very lucky that I'm from Greenland, because this is actually a winter wonderland. Like exactly now, it's snowing slowly and it's sunny. Exactly now, there's a window across my window, and I get the sun by that window. I was like, cool. But anyway, I never thought I would be a photographer. I never thought about that, because the real photographer in my home, it's my mother and my father, actually. How do I put it in words? Because when I was young, my mother was taking photos, so I have a lot of family photos in my archive. About archives, I have two big projects. The one, my own photography, as you can see here. And the other part is I work with archives. The archives are, I started working with archives when I was about to go to New York, when I found films in a dumpster, and I created a diary being another person. I never thought that I would be another person, but I have several personal issues that 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 makes it possible to me to be another person. Lucky. My own photography has has personalities too. And in this particular work, Flash, I use my snapshot identity, where I'm usually lucky, as you can see here. I can see the eyes and the mouth and someone in the background. I actually took the photo when everything was dark, so I feel very. When I see this photo, I usually feel very lucky. Photography is like uh, uh, a way for me to understand myself. Here I can read colors and what people are doing. So basically, it's like a reflection of my personality, or what's going on in my life. Uh, I understood that when I started in New York. So my work is actually to understand myself. Here's one. Here's an upcoming book. It's called Keepers of the Ocean, because my parents have the most amazing view. We have a view over the ocean here, and it's amazing. You can actually see how you can actually prove that the Earth is round because of the mountains on the east side. It's the work here is it has the same approach as Flesh, but because of who I am in my hometown, you can see the atmosphere, the feeling of photos is different than Flesh. Yeah, my father has a bakery, and I don't like cakes. That's fine. And in my when I went back home from New York, I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing. I never knew it's a different project, so I went on taking photos, but I found it very difficult because everywhere you go, you have different personality. Every language you speak, you have a different language. And in my hometown, I'm the weird guy with a lot of love. I because of not because of the weird part, but because of the love. I I managed to have good friends like these people. For that, I feel fortunate. It's so difficult to describe being from Greenland. Because being from Greenland is, I mean, we're only 57,000 people, and we have the least density in the world as a country. So that means we have a lot of nature going on, and our lives have modern and traditional ways that are colliding. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a very confusing thing. I guess that's good. Then I have something to talk about, basically. This is the last project that I'm going to show. It's called What If You Were My Sabine? And about, this is funny because Sabine is a book that I really, really love. And it's from one of my favorite photographers, Jacob Oeverboel. But basically, this project is about one of my favorite persons, actually my very, very favorite person, and she's from East Greenland. And Jacob Oeverboel took photos of his girlfriend in East Greenland. So and it's a little poem that I wrote for this person. Her name is Natungwang, Sweet Flower. You guys should meet her. She's amazing. In this project, I used two different cameras. As you can see here, it's a medium format, and here it's still the same snapshot camera. In previous works, I work on myself and my feelings. I'm still doing here, showing my feelings, but in this one is about another person. Usually it was about myself. Because of how I feel about her, you can see it's a lot more formal and the compositions are very right, as you know, very right. My favorite color is sunset, and you can see a lot of sunset colors in these photos, like yellow and red or black. But it's after sunset, but it's part of it, you know. Everything has an ending. When I take photos, I go after my feelings. Like, I don't think about taking that photo. I think about this feels right and this feels wrong. And yes, my father has a bakery, as I said, but the only the only cakes I can make is pancakes. That's all I got.